Thank you, Craig. Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure and an honour to be here today to present this year's winner of the Variety Heart of Football Award, which, as Craig said, goes every year to the person or organisation who has contributed most to football and to the Variety Club. And many of you in this room know that football is a tough business, but there's something even tougher in this economic climate, I think, and that is trying to raise money for charity. So it's very important to know that the money that's given to Variety is well spent. Every dollar is a very precious dollar, and I can tell you that it goes to those in need. In fact, 93% of the money raised goes to those in need. Only 7% is spent on administration. So that is, I think, some assurance that Variety is a mean and lean organisation. So now to this year's winner, to a man of outstanding qualities who all his adult life has worked with young children and in many cases has given them the start that they need to really get on. And whenever the Variety Club needed a special person to be at a function or to offer some support for special needs, then he was always the first to put up his hand. He joins legendary names like Ted Whitten and last year's winner Kevin Sheedy. He's a person who every week was either loved or hated. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1997 winner of the Variety Heart of Football Award is Glenn James. And to present the award to Glenn, the Honorary Secretary of Variety, Maureen Hafey.
What a week for the umpires, eh, ladies and gentlemen? Congratulations, Glenn. Speechless?
Absolutely, Sandy. Yeah, I was,
Well, there's a first. No, seriously.
Yeah, I really was. I thought that today I was just going to come along and enjoy the football panel and Sandy Roberts and Molly Meldrum and everybody else is here. And I think it's terrific that everybody is here at the casino today, at the Atrium Casino. I think it's fantastic. Whether you're from South Australia or wherever, as long as you're here in Victoria spending money, I reckon that's terrific.
You sound like the Premier.
But this is an absolute surprise. I am stuck for words.
Well, just tell us briefly, I mean, your involvement with charity, your involvement with children. We know, and we'll get on to it in a moment, your involvement with the Whistle and the White Outfit, but the other side of Glenn James.
Oh, well, I guess over the time, I came to Melbourne in 1973, and actually just before I came up here today, a guy that I used to teach with in, at Murrelbark Tech School when I first came to Melbourne. When I came to Melbourne, I came from Shepparton, from a family of 14. I've got 8 sisters and 5 brothers, and looks a little bit like our meal table here now, actually.
Terrible, isn't it, when you've got no television in the family?
There wasn't even a wireless in those days, mate.
Well, we know that with 14.
And I came to Melbourne and I thought that what I would do was do my teaching course and head back to the country, but the people were so kind to me and my family in Melbourne that I decided to stay. And from 1973 I've been involved with the education and training of people, young people, both in the formal sense and the non-formal sense in the sporting field, and right through that whole time I've enjoyed it, and since 1973 I've been involved non-stop with the AFL, and I guess that has certainly helped me in lots of aspects, and it's certainly given a lot of the boys and people that I've been working with the aspiration to achieve something valuable in their lives.
Glenn, why umpiring? How did that come about?
Well, umpiring, I played football for a while, and I played in the premiership up in Golden Valley League in 1970, and I found out what a few of the tricks of the trade were when I was playing, so I got my jaw broken then in 1971 after sort of having a little unsettling period after I came back from Vietnam, and I then decided to take on umpiring because I used to run out to the 3-mile turn-off and back at Shepparton, and people used to think I was crazy in 1970.
We're having a look at some of the vision. You officiated in the 82 grand final, Carlton and Richmond, and you officiated in 1984 with Hawthorn and the Essendon Football Club. And my memory serves me correctly, you held the ball aloft in that 84 final. You had this huge grin on your face. But am I also correct in saying there was a little bit of an altercation between Kevin Walsh and a chap that's now doubling as a boundary rider?
Yes, Sandy, I want to ask Glenn this question. This reminds me, standing next to Kevin Sheedy, last year's winner. Hello, Kevin. Now, 84 grand final. Why did you report me?
There we are.
I mean, I went to the tribunal, I got off. I remember saying a few words when you did report me. I said, Jamesy, go chuck a spear. And you said to me, shut up, you fat wog. So...
Okay, payback time.
That's a true story too. But I got off anyway.
Well, that's right. Dipper and I had an understanding that if he did something wrong, I was going to knock him over. And in the end, every week I just had to keep saying to Dipper, when he did something wrong, a man's going to do what a man's going to do. Dipper, turn around.
Well, congratulations, Glenn. I'll
Thanks
talk to
very
you
much,
later.
Dipper. But we had a good time on the field, Dipper and I. And the reason I reported you that day was that Sheedy sent Colin Hooper out. He's running to tell me I should report
That's a
you.
fair buck.
Actually,
Look,
Dipper,
have a look at it. Slow motion. Kevin's on the ball. Beautiful.
I'm just wondering, Dipper,
It was
what
a
that
top
left...
shoulder.
What's that wing doing up there?
What was wrong with that, Kevin?
Noel Busy wasn't even in the tribunal at that stage either, Dipper, so you were lucky.
Now, Kevin wants to say, well, yes, Kevin?
Well, actually, to be quite honest, when Kevin Walsh went off, Roger Merritt came on and won the game.
End of story.
Look, okay, we lost the game, all right. It wasn't because of me, all right, Hawthorn supporters?
Thank you, Dipper. We've got to take a break. Ladies and gentlemen, would you put your hands together for the 1997 Heart of Football Award winner, Glenn James. Good on you, Glenn.
Thanks,
Well done, mate. We'll take a break. More shortly.